famous zombie cover. Um, that's a long story, but zombies. We've been playing zombie for years since we very first started the band with the original lineup and everything. We when we first started playing, we were putting out an album almost every year, and it was I think it was 2009. And we were still in high school. We were playing a lot of shows. We were playing like these little local festivals to radio festivals to bar shows. And some of those shows were really, really long. Like we weren't just like now our set is maybe like 30 an hour. Those shows, we were doing shows like an hour and a half, 2 hours. So my point being is we would need some covers. We would need some extra material, even though we had, two albums out at the time. And, we had some like, I can't even remember anymore. Like I think Mike mentioned that we did like a Godsmack cover. We used to do "Kiss Me," the New Found Glory version, uh, and with Zombie, it was interesting because a lot of people ask me, why that song, why that song, and it just kind of it took on like its own force. It's four chords musically. It's no disrespect, it's a little bit simpler, and we just kind of jammed it out, and it came out. It was a lot of fun, and our version. We have a lot of extra instrumental things going on, especially guitar wise. There's a solo. When we play it live, we do the whole hey, hey thing. We added a lot to it, and it became a crowd favorite, especially because, it's a popular song. This was back in 2009. And so, yeah, we would play it at shows. We would end the set with it. Not necessarily every time, but it was always a crowd favorite. You know what I mean? It just grew and grew. And the people that would see us here in the local scene, because that's when we first started to play it, that's when we noticed that wow, this is going to be a crowd favorite. This is going to be a good song to drop. If people don't necessarily know us yet, Zombie was always a pretty safe choice to go.
Hmm. Covering zombie. Wow, that this takes me back. If I'm not mistaken, we were like running through just random songs. We played I think one from like Godsmack, or try attempted to play one from Godsmack right away. Um, Several other songs, and that song really stuck with us, and it's really carried on through the ages with us too. Like we still play it today, and just like from what we've done, like a lot of people love like the way it sounds, and that's how it like came about from the beginning, and um, still a solid song today.
Recording Zombie was even more of an interesting process because uh, we have five albums, and Predicted was 2007, 2008. That was the first batch project. Me, which was, it's another story. Trapped In was in 2009, and Stop the Angels Cry was in 2010. And that's the album that Zombie comes out in. But we recorded Zombie in between Trapped In and Stop the Angels Cry. And we didn't do any other songs like that, but we actually did a little three-song EP kind of that we never released, and we actually did a cover of "What If We Could" by Blue October, "Helter Skelter" by the Beatles, and "Zombie." And we never really did anything with it. We weren't too happy with. I mean, they came out good, but we have a high standard for ourselves. And point being, we recorded "Zombie" at Sonic Ranch, where we recorded the first two albums, and it was a really, it was really hard. Like the producer was really hard on us. Marco Ramirez, for good reason. I mean, he was a great guy. He really helped us out. But yeah, I remember recording that thing over and over, and especially the guitar lines and the solos that I added, which I'm really proud of. But I remember just hacking away at those things, and I'm glad I'm glad it worked out. And the that finished product there was very cut and dry. It's not the recording that you hear now. So it was kind of like I said, in limbo in between those two albums. So when we went to Sonic Fish with Ken Mary, Broken Smile, Breathe, Angels Cry, that album, we brought Ken Mary those files, all the recordings that we did. And there, he's the one that really put that in that album, and he gave it the flair that it needed. He helped us add that guitar feedback, a little bit more echo, a lot more production on it here and there, and that's where Zombie really came to life, as the recording anyway. and that album was the first one that we completely sold out of. So that was the recording process, and it was different. Like I said, no other song came about like that, but it was the results speak for itself.
The way that they wanted us to record it was really difficult. Like we wanted to get it perfectly down, but I recall like um, also having to record like the scratch recording, which is a really quick in and out process. I remember like repeatedly recording the song, and I was just thinking to myself, like, why do I keep like recording this over and over? I thought we're like, I'm not doing this right. I couldn't get it, and then finally, they like came over the intercom or into the headset, and they're like, hey, we're just trying to get the scratch recording perfect. I just remember, what? Why the scratch? I thought I was recording the whole thing right here and now. Why are we spending so much time on this? But it was really a taxing process. I mean, I know I'm not like the best bass player in the world, but as far as recording, I thought I was pretty okay, especially with how many times we've played it live, not only rehearsing it, but it was just a really taxing, but like now thinking about it, funny thing to have like gone through as a musician. Just over and over, just recording, and then finally it's like we want this perfect scratch recording. It's like, oh my goodness, why?
The zombie video, if you've seen it, it's different from most of our other videos. It only has me in it, and I know I'm repeating myself here, but it was just zombie is just a different animal for us, and I guess mainly because it's a cover song. And director Christopher Jones, who did all of our videos, um, he wanted to do something with that song. And, since it wasn't our original song, we kind of gave him a little bit more creative freedom. He had the idea of, taking a different interpretation. The girl Jaxx that's in the video dancing and stuff. He wanted to do something more with the aesthetic of zombie. You know what I mean? That's why I come across as more of like, this like incubus type, demon, scary dude haunting this girl having a nightmare. And we get a lot of comments, not a lot of comments, but every once in a while people will come and say, this totally misses the point of the original meaning, and it's about war. And we totally respect that. The video is not a reflection of disrespect or ignorance on our part. We know that. But our cover of Zombie is not necessarily a different interpretation, but it was more of a cover of the music. You know what I mean? We added a lot musically, guitar wise, you know what I mean, drum wise, vocally, the screaming here and there. And the video is the same thing, you know what I mean? We made a different choice. And again, like I said, the director had most of the creative choices and everything. And we just kind of went with that route. And, we recorded it at our old rehearsal studio at the time, the scene of me and that girl. And it's funny because it's just kind of like an old dusty room and stuff, had this big old conference table on it, but we got on there, got some cool lighting, and it came out great. Jaxx filmed some of the parts on her own where she has a black background. That was the first time that the director had dabbled with a little bit of special effects when I slammed down on the table and everything, and when my face gets kind of distorted. And that video, again to this day, I think it has the most views. It's pretty popular, and but like I said, it's a different interpretation. It's more. It's not a literal interpretation of the song. It's our view. You know what I mean? It's our not really our view. Just like I said, instrumental wise and video wise, we were taking it on a different artistic plane.
I want y'all to put your hands in the air, repeat after me, guys. Every motherfucker in here, come on! Hey, 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 come on! Hey, 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 let's go!
The reception's brilliant. It's a really great song on its own, but there's countless times where I've heard like fans just say, "Oh, I prefer your version over the original," and not to deem the original not great, or it's a great, brilliant song, masterpiece. But there's been times where it's taking me off guard. It's just like, really, over the original, because the original is just an amazing song as it is, and it really makes me feel good as an artist that other people, um, not to say that they prefer that version, but it's something that's been really uh, we've been able to provide a really solid cover of the song, to which other people recognize it as being great art.
The absolute best part about Zombie is the fan reception. It has been in our set since I said, like, I mean, I guess, shit, 10 years now. I mean, it's always been in the set, no matter where we're playing in the country, that song just goes. There's a lot of crowd interaction. The more that we played it, the more it grew and evolved, and we have that build up, and we just have people, just going crazy, and it's the climax of the set a lot of times, and we have people just getting down to it because, like I said, if it's somebody's first time seeing us, everybody knows that song, and so to add a little bit more aggression, a little bit more fun to it, really reflected in the show. So to start in that chord progression clean, and then just coming in with the band is always so fun and so powerful, and we've played it, in small clubs and festival tours, to massive crowds, and it's great. You know what I mean? I talked about in the last video, how Broken Smile got such amazing reception, and Zombie is in the same way, but different in the sense that we do play that song live. It's a lot more energetic, and you know what I mean? A lot of people say, like, I love your Zombie cover. I love your cover of Zombie. You know what I mean? It still gets, radio play here and there, and it's just amazing that, people really connected with our version of it, and it's a fun song to play, and our respects to the Cranberries and Dolores, and rest in peace, and I'm glad that she gave us that gift, and I'm glad that we can sing her songs for her, and we're thankful for everybody that sings along with us.